Hi, Linda. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Tina. It's good to see you.
You too. So I told you that I wanted your hot take on a utilization rate, and just to sort of set the stage. I was talking at a retreat that we both attended recently about cash flow. Where's the money going? And one of the things that came up was billable hours need to be at 80% sort of across the board for you and all your people that are working with you, which I think we've looked at maybe a little bit different number. Maybe it's 67% or something like that. When we backed into what income do you want? How many hours do you want? You've got a quick spreadsheet, and we'll drop a link in the description below for that spreadsheet for working out your personal income. But once you start growing into this team environment, the sort of conventional wisdom is 80% billable, and then they have about 20% to go into administrative activities or other marketing activities that you yourself are paying for. So talk to me about, what does that mean? 80% billable. Do you agree with it? First of all. Second, what does that maybe look like for a marketing company or another small business?
So when you're looking at 80% billable, that to me, that feels a little high. I think probably 70% might be a better number. It gives you time to fill in projects that might just pop up. If you build out all the time for your staff, they don't have the availability to pick up and do things for clients kind of ad hoc.
That felt like a really high utilization rate. So coming from a call center background where we did analytics, we knew if we got even up to 70% utilization, that our call wait time was going to be huge. So 80% billable felt, I felt a little panicked.
Yeah, and I heard the same number and I felt the same way.
Okay.
I think there's always a client who needs a little bit more time. There's always a project that needs a little bit more time. And if you've packed your staff schedule and your schedule to 80%, you're going to shove the things off the calendar that are important that you need to move ahead. So those things that really do move your business, creating new products, doing training with your employees so that they can step up the level of work that they're doing for your clients. All of those things kind of fall back the radar, and they just scramble to get their work done. And they're not productive for a long period of time. There are tons of studies out there that say 4 hours is really kind of it. That's your brain work, and that's all you can really do. So trying to spread that out further, I'm not sure you're going to get the product that you want from them.
Hey there, sorry to interrupt, but are you liking this content? Is it something that you're benefiting from? Are you learning something and growing a little bit from this content? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, do me a favor, hit that like button so the algorithm will send this out to more people just like you, so that we can all build more profitable businesses and do more life together. Thanks for watching. Right. It felt like pushing toward that number, at least for us, might incent the wrong activities. Which is just like, I have to be billable right now, is kind of what it felt like. If I communicate that to my team, then that becomes the most important thing versus, am I delivering value in this?
Yeah.
I do think like taking a look at it was important, because we were way off kilter on the other side, right? I mean, maybe we were 30%, right? Maybe we were 30% billable, which is not exactly true. But we definitely had moments where we were probably giving more than we should. And I'm the worst offender to just give the store away for free. So it helps keep me in check more than anything. And also helps the people that work for me say, whoa, Tina, what are you billing?
Yeah, and oh, by the way, we don't need to work anymore for that client. You need to just scale it back. But we're all helping people. You want to do what you can do. And like you said, I don't want my employees focusing on how much time they're putting into something so that they can bill it. I want them doing what the client needs in that moment and not have to worry about the billable time. component.
And also there's a component of training
Mhm.
that happens as well, where if it's something they've never encountered before, or they encountered it, but it was 3 months ago or something like that. And I want them to be able to research that, but not bill the client for that research because that's reusable, right, in the future. So that felt a little icky as well because it felt just super compressed on trying to do new things, or maybe a new person doing a new thing and
Right.
trying to push that into that formula felt
Yeah.
strangling.
Yeah, kind of icky. And you came up with something, the 70-20-10.
Yeah.
That ratio feels really good to me from a time standpoint, from a money standpoint. That was a budgeting number that you got from Coca-Cola, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
70% is on the regular work, 20% is on maintenance
Hmm.
of old systems, and 10% is on new stuff.
Right.
That feels like a really good way to approach even your time, where you 70% is what you're doing on a regular basis. You've got that 20% buffer to go fix your old stuff and make it better,
Yeah.
and 10% to look at new projects and do employee development, staff development, reach
Yeah.
out to your customers and kind of do some things that are different.
Well, in our own marketing too,
Mhm.
which of course we can pay other people to do it, but we know how to do it. So,
Right.
so we can put that into our own, which, there's a cost associated with that. So that just means that the way I bill or the price for our services has to look a little bit different, but people are going to get a higher value
Yeah.
off of that, right?
Yes, that is what that means. So if you're not going to go to that 80% billable, you need to bill more to cover that employee
Yeah.
if you're billing out at a lower rate. Like 70, if you're going to back to 70% billable or some number close to that, you need to cover more of their benefits and their pay with what you're billing clients. So your rate is going to be a little higher.
Yeah. So when we did that income spreadsheet where we worked into the number that should be our hourly rate,
Mhm.
even if we do project work, let's make sure we're not spending more than this number of hours on it.
Mhm.
Then there was a number, and that probably was with a 60 to 70% utilization formulated in there. I think you talked about 70% in that spreadsheet itself.
Yeah, I think that's what's in there. I didn't look at it recently, but I think that's what's in there. That's what feels good.
Yeah.
It gives you time to do the things you need to do to keep your business running.
Yeah. So when we try to backtrack that into a gross profit margin,
Mhm.
then, we've been aiming for 70% gross profit. And that means our contractors are above that line. They're in that 30% that we're paying.
Right.
Um, so I guess my question is that right? Does that seem like those would equal out in the end?
Your contractors need to be getting billed out also, and we've talked about that too. So you're covering their cost plus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't pass that cost through. We double that piece out there. But your employees are also part of that. And I know you're not doing this, your employees aren't up there, but
Mhm.
they are doing billable direct work.
Yep.
They are part of that. You're just pulling out what Mike Michalowicz calls the subcontractor component.
Yeah.
Your employees you keep all the time, so you have to cover them all the time, so we don't shove them up in that direct cost space all the time.
I know that's something I'm going to be talking with Steve about later this afternoon, I think, because he does pull payroll above the
He
line.
does. I play with it sometimes, but when you're looking at comparables, a lot of industries don't look at it that way. In his industry, which is the lawn care and landscaping, they do that. They look at that piece. But in my industry, payroll cost is down in operating. It's not up there in direct cost, but it is a direct billable cost of the work that we're doing. I wouldn't need the
Yeah.
employees if I didn't have the work. So
Yeah, it just makes me think of all the complexity around that because, like, I have an assistant
mhm.
who doesn't necessarily do any client work. So
Mhm.
that wouldn't make its way above the line, I don't think, but
No, it wouldn't. It would be down in the admin area. And when you start kind of deciding where things go, it starts to get wishy-washy
yeah.
again. So when you're looking for comparison, you've made judgments in your numbers if you can't really identify which pieces. If you're not going to do timekeeping, you're never going to be able to really identify which pieces. And
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to, we are starting to do that. We're
Mhm.
starting to do some timekeeping by customer and by project, because we're trying to figure out if there are certain projects that where we're losing money, because it feels like that might be the case.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I'm not measuring it.
Yeah,
So
you have to measure it. And it's one of those things that's really difficult to get enforced and done. No
yeah.
one tracked their hours. I'm like the worst culprit on my team. I'm like, hey, yeah, you did nothing. I'm like, but I was here for 10 hours.
Yeah, I know. That's what I've been tracking my hours, and I'm like, I know I am working more than this.
Exactly. You have 7 hours for the week. I'm like, yeah, we just didn't write down all the time.
I know. I know. I'm the worst. So, and I hate asking people to do that because it feels just like an extra thing to ask them to do.
The way we've handled it is we do it sporadically, or we'll do it on a job. Like if there's a job that we are really kind of wondering about,
Mm,
I will try to push them to track time on those specific jobs, or we'll do it for a month and everybody will do it for a month. And then we'll just look at it.
so kind of
Nope.
a spot checking.
Kind of like a spot check. Yeah. Just to make sure that we're on track with what we think we're doing.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea, actually,
Mhm.
especially for smaller businesses where,
Mhm.
I mean, you just don't have time for all the things that you should be doing,
Yeah. And somebody needs to analyze all that data on a regular basis to make it useful. If you're not going to analyze the data, it makes no sense to collect it.
which is also that takes time or money or both.
But if you say you had 4 big jobs that you were doing and you made sure that everybody tracked their time on those 4 big jobs as opposed to everything they did,
Yeah.
then you could track those pieces. That works for us.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Mhm.
We might spot check like that. I just don't, it's so hard for me to remember to do that. I know it has to be the same way for most of the people that
Yeah,
work with me.
it is impossible.
Some days for sure.
Yeah, it just
And
is.
and at the same time, I know that's also a mindset thing. And if I get used to it and get in the habit of doing something, I can change that. So if
Mhm.
anyone's listening and they're like, she just doesn't know how to form a habit, I do.
Yeah, and our software will actually track the time that we're in files.
Oh,
I
nice.
can, I can spot check a few things, like my tax software tracks the amount of time we've got the file open. I've got workflow software that you can just click and start your time and it'll track it.
Yeah.
Most of the timekeeping software that's out there will let you do that and puts it on your phone so you can literally start your timer
Yeah.
as you start a job. So there are lots of easy ways to do it. It's just for it to be useful, you have to do it consistently with an intent in mind to go back and look at it. You can't just do it mindlessly.
Yeah, and I as we're talking about this, I know Mike Michalowicz talks about this in Clockwork,
Mhm.
and that he says to track it for 2 weeks, which I've done before for me personally. And so maybe that's the same kind of thing. You kind of track it for 2 weeks, analyze it, change some things,
Right.
go a quarter or even 6 months, do it again. And maybe that's the right flavor. And he talks in Clockwork about percentages of time. And he does use 80% for getting the work done, like working on the deliverables. He
Mhm.
doesn't say billable, but I mean, basically, that's kind of the same
Yeah,
thing, right?
that's the same thing. And he's talking about the whole company.
Right.
Like, out of all the hours in the company, 80% of it should be doing something
Right. To deliver something.
that
Okay.
creates
So,
money.
along those lines, though,
Mhm.
if 80% of the time is used to deliver something, but you're a solopreneur,
Mhm.
because a lot of the marketing ladies that we work with are individual owners and they don't I mean, they do most of the work. So that's 80% of delivering to clients. So when do you, out of a 40-hour work week, how do you end up marketing your own company, doing your admin stuff?
You need a little bit of help. You need to
Yeah.
automate. You need to make it simple, not complicated. So
Yeah. I do think that's where it comes in. Like you have to deliver the same kinds of things over and over again for that to start to make sense.
Mhm.
Or now, and some of these ladies do farm out work, specific types of work to
Right.
contractors. So they're solopreneurs, but they're
Mhm.
actually using other resources too. And those contractors, from what you're saying here, would count in
Yes,
that
100%.
80%.
They're 100% because you're not necessarily developing them. They have their own businesses. They're coming to you with skills
Right.
and the ability to do that task. So you take that and you turn that right into something. So that's 100%
Yeah.
billable essentially.
Right. So that could offset some of
Yeah,
your time to do your marketing or your
it does.
administrative work or legal or whatever else is coming your way.
It does. And 80% product delivery, some of that is creating the new products to deliver next,
Good. That's a
which could
good
be
point.
streamlining your current products so that they can be done easier
Okay.
also.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
And I always have questions about, wait, does this belong in this category or this category? Both with profit first and clockwork and all that jazz.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is delivering a product can include developing and streamlining current products. And maybe that's where that other Coca-Cola formula comes in,
Yeah,
where we're
that's where
talking
you
about.
squeeze it down a little bit. Like
Yeah.
when I write an email, if I'm gonna send it again, I try to save it on a template form so that I don't have to recreate that email.
Right.
And someone else can come back and do that same email. If I've got a worksheet that we're trying to use, we try to save it and create instructions and Loom videos and attach things to it so that the next person can pick it up and just use it rather than recreating from scratch all the time.
Right.
All of those things help.
And that's part of your 80% deliverable.
Yeah, I did
Deliverable.
it once. I can use it again. So it like squeezes my time down for the next time we do it.
From your lips to God's ears.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I wanted to just hop in and clarify that because that number scared me to death. And I don't like looking at it either, just to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd love to ignore it
Mhm.
and pretend like it doesn't exist, but I wanted clarification for me because I'm selfish. But secondly, I figured it would probably help other
Mhm.
marketing women that I work with to have a little discussion around this. If nothing else, what it does help is for you to take a look at what's happening and adjust some things.
Small differences, yes. Tweak it just a little bit. Look at where you are
Yeah.
and a little bit of a change. It's kind of like the expense review that we do with Profit First once a quarter. You
Yeah.
use that expense review. It's a time review. Time is your other big resource. You have dollars and you have time. So figuring out where you're spending both of them is critical and making a choice for yourself to go in the direction you want to go in.
Yeah. That's a really good point. That's really convicting, I think. You have to look at money and you have to look at time.
Yes.
I don't want to look at either of them.
But that's all we got, money and time.
I know.
Mhm.
So that's our responsibility as business owners is to pay attention to those two things for sure
Yeah.
and to make adjustments that get us more in the right direction. It's how we'll continue to be business owners in the future. So
Keeps
we
us
have to,
solid and sane.
yeah, solid is important. And so is sanity, as a matter of fact.
Solid and sane. Yes.
All right, fine. You make really good points. I'll do things. I'll look at time and money.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for your time. And hopefully this will help any other marketing companies out there. Just realize that there are two big assets you've got going for you, time and money. You should take a look at both of them. make small adjustments, and it does. Small adjustments consistently in the right direction do produce big results over time.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Thanks, Linda.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, you reached the end. Congratulations and thanks for watching. One quick question before you go. Did you find this interesting? Do you think someone else that you know could benefit from the information you heard here today? Well, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notifications for when more of this information comes out. By hitting like, it means that this content goes out to other people just like you who might also be able to benefit from this information and can build a more profitable business so they can do more life. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.